All right, to recap from yesterday to today, because today has a lot to do with yesterday. I was trading ticker symbol HHX, and I believe I short sold some around here, covered, and then um, and then I think I was even looking at the computer. I don't remember what happened yesterday, but after trading HX, I in the morning
Market data connection lost.
I saw that it was squeezing up. I did an ABCD pattern, and it pushed up all the way up to high, the highest point of 255. So um, I I've seen this pattern before. I recognized this so many times, um, and I
Market
knew what
data
I
connection
knew what to do.
re-established.
So basically, I saw that it was squeezing, and I know from experience that when you see a stock squeezing um, towards the end of the day, of course you can long it and quickly get out before the day ends. I've seen Tim Sags, Gratani do it before. I know the probabilities and everything just off the top of my head. Um, so when it started going up, um, I took interest in shorting it. I believe my average was, and the way I entered this stock was pretty much out of greed, so I wanted to make a large amount of money, and I did it out of without properly thinking. I had too much. There was too much time left on the day for me to enter the way I did, but I'm not too sure if I thought the stock would hit the high of day and then fell. But I got in far too early and far too much shares, and I got in at 180, I believe, 182. Um, and I don't know if the stock came down at the time that I got into it. No, I think I got into it right here. Um, I got into it literally right here where I thought it wasn't gonna pass this highest point of the day, and it just squeezed up on me. And I had the chance to cover, but I just no, I walked away from the computer to grab something, and when I came back real quick, it squeezed up on me, and I still had the chance to cover for a small loss, but because of greed and not wanting to take the loss, because I had lost all that I made yesterday, and I was down another $30. I chose not to. I chose not to exit the trade and try again later, which would have been over here. So it squeezed and just kept squeezing and squeezing and squeezing towards the end of the day. And I was just so fucking pissed with myself. I was very angry with myself. I was very just disappointed in myself. And the words of Gratani just came into my head. Once you break one rule, you'll start breaking other rules later on within that trade. So that first rule I broke was of getting in too early. Then I entered with too much size, um, and then I didn't cut my loss. Well, then I first I walked away from the computer, which is you shouldn't be walking away. Then I didn't cut my loss. Then when I had my chance to cut my loss with a small loss, I didn't. So that I didn't cut losses quickly, and then I didn't cut losses period, and it just kept squeezing without me. Then I broke another rule of holding it overnight, but I knew it was gonna fail overnight. That was part of the plan, so that wasn't really me breaking a rule. But towards the end of the day, you see right here towards the end of the day at 4 o'clock, from 1.82, It went to a higher day, so minus high day of 2.55. That's 73 shares. So 73 shares. Sorry. 73 times 800 equals $584. That's how much I was down by the end of the day. But I knew it was gonna fail. Why did I know? Because I've seen and I've experienced this so many times where stocks will just squeeze up and then fade the rest of the day. I mean, fade pre-market. This wasn't that liquid as well, so I knew it was gonna fade after hours and shit. So I just didn't cover, and I knew I was taking a major risk not covering, but I just couldn't help it. I was very emotional. I wasn't thinking straight. I mean, the trade was correct. I was right for wanting to short it towards the end of the day and cover the next day, but I should not be holding on to a major loss overnight, knowing that although I knew it was going to come down, it would have been better if I shorted here, and if it didn't go my way, I wouldn't take as much of a big loss. But if it gapped up the next day, for sure there will be a major, even a bigger loss than the $584 that I just showed you. So after the market closed, I left. I went to go do some deliveries, and the stock. I checked it while I was out, and it had went down to like a lot, and I was up. It came down like 50 cents. Then it was down. It was down like 70 cents, and I was break even at this point. I had made back what I lost, and I was break even. And then towards around 7, 8 o'clock, close to the market completely closing. If you see here, after hours closes at 8 o'clock, I believe. Yeah, 8 o'clock right here. After hours closes at 8 o'clock. So I was watching it throughout this whole time, after hours on my phone, and I was like up a few dollars, maybe like $30 or something, $80 or something like that. So I could have covered into here, but I chose, okay, I'm like, it's going the way I wanted to. It's down a lot, so let me just continue to hold it. I knew I was taking a major risk going into it, but I was okay with it. And then it just started fading more pre-market, and market open, it bounced, and right here, this is market open right here, it bounced, it pulled back. I wasn't too comfortable with holding here, but I knew it would push up and bounce and then fade the rest of the day, but I covered right here because I started to see it go sideways, and it wasn't breaking this area right here pre-market. So I covered into sideways consolidation. I wasn't too sure how much it would bounce, so I covered now, and I'm like, okay, I'll re-short later. But it didn't bounce much, and I was too busy watching 2 other stocks that I was like, okay, I'm just gonna cover here and not trade it anymore. And it's sad that I did that, or not that smart that I did that, because it ended up having some more fade for the rest of the day, and it came down from where I covered at. I literally covered at around like 42, maybe. Let me see, where did I cover? Give me 1 second. I covered at 155, 160. Give me 1 second. I covered at, let me see, where the order actually executed. Yeah, so I accidentally covered 100 shares at 155, and then I covered the other 700 at 159, and I made like 800 bucks. I'll show you here. I made 172. Or it was like 172, and then I think it said 800 bucks, but it was around $800. I don't know why the numbers changed or something like that, but that's how much I made for that trade. If I was wiser, if I had cut the loss when I had the chance, if I had cut the loss up here, right here, if I had cut the loss right here and, you know, was patient enough to wait for it to squeeze up and then short it either here or here, or even start shorting it after hours, I could have made a large amount, a lot more money, over 70 cents more. But because of my lack of discipline and my lack of self-control in this situation, I failed to do so. But yeah, I'm glad I made the 700, but I'm not proud of myself. I'm not too happy because that's not how I trade. I'm really like considering it to be it was a 5-star trade. Like, it was the best. I had everything planned correctly. I was right about everything. But if I followed my rules or my plan to it, it could have been a 5-star trade, but my performance was a 1-star. I broke so many rules here. But if I would have just shorted around here, this area, I don't even have to get the top, but this whole area right here, I could have made a large amount. I could have covered into the very bottom, and the market's not even closed yet. Let me put it to 5 days. Yeah, the market's not even closed yet, and I could have shorted from literally the very top and covered. It's still going down, but I could have covered here. It's literally 3:12 p.m. And I could have. I'm very disappointed in myself, but I could have done much better. Now the next stock that I traded, it was EBON. Ticker symbol EBON. I came into this trade watching it. I saw the 2 stocks that I was watching, but these 2 were the ones that I caught interest in. I looked at the past history for this one, saw that first I looked at pre-market, and pre-market told me, you know, okay, it went to a high of 714 pre-market, and then I look at the after hours, the yearly chart, and I really wanted to play off a 730 high a day, because right here is 730, not high a day, but multi-day high a day. So I was really trying to play off of that, shorting from that area. So when I was watching this stock, if you see right here, I wanted to short it right here when I first got into the stock, but I knew this wasn't the smartest entry, because 714 was really the entry that I really needed to be playing off of, and 730 from the previous day. So if I look back here on my entries, where did I enter and which stock? So I gotta figure out which trade executed. So I entered 300 shares at 675. So that's around here. Yeah, I remember. I think it was. Yeah, 675 around here. And then it's saying that, let me see. I don't remember how I entered it. I wish I could, it would show me where I enter and exit. But I entered somewhere here around 675, and it started fading, and then it bounced, faded some more, and I covered. What did I cover? Okay, so I guess it hit my risk from what I remember, and I tried again, and I got in at 645. Yeah, it did. I remember now. It hit my risk of somewhere. I had changed my risk to here or somewhere here. It just hit my risk. I think I got in right here before it went past. Yeah, I got in right here before it went past this candlestick right here of the high of 75, and it ended up pushing past it, and I covered. Then I tried again at, I think right here or somewhere right here where I tried again, risking high a day, and it faded, started to fade, and I covered again at $6.02. So I'll say around here I shorted and then covered into here when it started sideways, going sideways for sure. I remember covering here, so I shorted here and covered here because it started going sideways. It started consolidating, and then it had this push up. So I was right for covering here. It had this push up, bounce, or perk up, whatever you want to call it, and then it started fading even more. And I missed it by about, I'll say I missed it by from $6.02 to, I missed it by 70 cents. I missed my cover by 70 cents. I could have made more, extra 70 cents, but I was okay with it. Then it had this bounce all the way up to here. Eventually, after my third trade for the day, I left the computer to go to an appointment. But sorry, this is a little long video, but yeah, it had this major bounce. I mean, for people who was holding, trying to go for the home run here, I mean, there was a major squeeze right here, and it just pushed up. And while I was at my appointment, I was watching all three stocks that I traded, and I'm like, okay, when I get back to my computer, I'm gonna look to short it from here and risk off of. I was gonna short it from wherever, I see it have a crack, which is right here to here, and risk off a higher day. And that would be, if I got in at 677, I'll be risking about 23 cents roughly. But of course, I wouldn't get on at the highest point. But that's where I wanted to short and play the pattern that way. But it cracked without me, and now it's bouncing. So I might get a second chance here. It might push past this 677 point right here, and retest this near to high day, or even 714, which I hope it hits 714 or gets close to 714, and I can short again towards the end of the day. It all depends on the time. There's only like 40 minutes left in the day. That's enough time for it to push up. So if it pushes up towards the end of the day, I'll short it from my risk of 714 or $7 roughly, and trade it the same way I traded HX. So hopefully that happens, but whatever happens, it doesn't matter. I'm glad that I was able to profit out of this stock. I was able to profit off of EBOM, $75. Now $75 isn't much, but I'm okay with it. That's more than I get paid at my job for one day. It sounds embarrassing, but it's the truth. So then I jumped onto MESO, ticker symbol MESO. So looking at it pre-market first, that's the first thing I do. I saw that, okay, it had a high point of 2055 roughly, and it had another high point of 20. And looking at the yearly chart right here, this big candlestick, it was 2057. So roughly 2055, 20 or 2060, you can call it, was my major resistance. And it had a big volume candlestick right here, which I didn't even look at, but now I'm looking at it now. And it also had a big candlestick here. These things are something that I need to remember to look at the volume for the day as well, because sometimes I just forget to do it. But and that's an area I need to improve on. But that was my resistance there. So I was playing off of that resistance. The volume was good, looking pre-market. So I plan to short it. I need to refresh this page. This is not updated properly. Okay, so with this one, yes, I remember this one. Okay, so sorry, I have a horrible memory, so I'm improving on my memory. So sometimes I just forget things. So yeah, the way I traded this shit right here, not the best way of trading at all. I give myself a horrible. It was the same way I traded HX. Horrible. I give myself a 1 star on a 3-star strategy. I shorted into resistance. Daily resistance. I shorted onto a stock that continued to spike. So if you see right here, you don't need to be smart to do this. You don't have to be the smartest person to do this. You just have to study. But I shorted into here. I entered at, what does it say? I entered my short at $18. So I was playing off of the resistance here and here. And I think here, higher day and this point. So the highest point right here was 1817. And then right here it should be 1850. Yeah, 1850 roughly. Yeah, 1850. And I was playing off of those 2 resistance points, but mainly the higher day. And I started shorting, and it reached 1850, and then it came down by another 50 cents. And it was at 18, and I'm like, I missed my entry. I got upset. I started chasing. First mistake. I started chasing. It's okay to miss your entry, but it's not okay to start chasing. So I started chasing, and Tim Sachs is gonna be pissed if he ever sees this video. He already told me to stop chasing. He even wrote it on a $100 bill that he gave me. He wrote, "Stop fucking chasing." You can see it on my Instagram. But I started chasing it, and my entry was, I had an entry at like 1840 or 1830, and then it went down to 18, and then it went down to a lower point of like 1760, and I was like, damn, I missed it by a whole $1 or almost $1. And I was pissed, and then it bounced up and went to 1850 again. I missed that again, and then I just chased it and got in it at $18. So I knew $18. I knew it was gonna keep pushing higher. I just didn't know how much, so I went in small with $100. 100 shares, and I was just gonna add on to it later. But I wanted to cover at 1850 because 100 shares times 50 cents is $50, and I'm not okay with that. So it ended up pushing to 1850 and then passing 1850, and I didn't cover. And then it gave me a second chance to cover at 18.9 back where I entered, and I just didn't take it. I'm like, what the fuck? and then it just pushed up right here. Let me zoom in closer. And it just, I could have covered multiple times right here, and I didn't, and then it just pushed up. And I was down like almost 200 bucks. I was pissed, but I knew it was gonna come down. So when I saw weakness into it, I added another, it says I added another 300 shares. So I added another 300 shares right here. And I was like, okay, if it passes this highest point of 1950 roughly, I have to cover. Resistance is at 20 and 2050, but I have to cover. So it pushed it later. It later had a pullback, bounce, and pushed past my risk to 1960. I was like, shit, I need a cover. And then I seen that the next minute it had this candlestick, this red candlestick, it pulled back, and it pulled back some more, and pulled back some more, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So that was a quick fake breakout. Not even a breakout, fake higher high. It still is a higher high, but it didn't really push like it was supposed to. And I held, and then it broke down some more. I mean, first of all, this highest point is not my resistance. It's not even the proper resistance. The highest point, the better resistance is 20, and the best resistance or the strongest resistance is 2050. So I'm glad I didn't cover because I was playing off an arbitrary risk. I mean, higher day, of course, you can cover, but my main risk is 20, not this point right here of 1950. So, I'm glad I didn't cover because that wasn't the main risk. If there was no past resistance anywhere here or in the yearly chart, then I'll cover a high day because you don't know how much it's gonna push up to. But because I knew I had other layers of resistance, I didn't have to cover. So, but I still wanted to cover. So it pushed down, came down, and I covered at 1780 when I saw that it was going sideways. So it came down, pushed down to 1760, but it was going sideways, and I entered my order at, 1780, covered my 400 shares and made 341 bucks for the day, and a total of 1127. This is by far one of the biggest trades I had in a couple of months, but I'm proud of myself, but I'm not proud of my performance. I didn't perform properly. There's many other trades last week and the weeks prior where I could have made over 1,000 for the day, but because of my lack of discipline and my stubbornness, I ended up losing what I could have made, or some of what I could have made. But after I covered right here, it was good that I had this covered because it did end up perking up, but fading some more, and then perking up even higher and fading some more. So I covered in a good area right here. Like, it literally covered in a good area before you had this bigger perk, and then even a perk right here, and even a bigger perk right here. So I covered good. It is 30 minutes before the day is over, or till 4 o'clock. I'm not trying to get into this at all. I will be watching this tomorrow, and EBOM tomorrow, and HX to see how much it would fade, how much more it would fade the second day or the third day. But overall, I'm glad I made these gains, but I performed horribly, and this is something I really need to work on because this is not part of my strategy. But I'm glad. One thing that's helping me out in trading is I watched Tim Grittani's shorting chapter, which is like chapter, what chapter is it? It's this 3 on the website, chapter 9 through 12, but you should really watch chapter 7, chapter 9, 10, 11, 12, and then after that it's all his his webinars you can watch. He has a whole day of webinars, but chapter 7, 9, 10, 11, 12 are the best chapters to watch about shorting. So I watched it already, and then this week I watched this some more to relearn what I've already learned and to really instill those lessons. And today I applied them even more than last week, or earlier this week. So I can feel myself improving. I'm just dealing with stubbornness, and I did some research the other day on how can I build discipline, but I realized it's not discipline that I'm really struggling with, it's more of self-control. So I'm gonna go on YouTube today, maybe or tomorrow, and research how can I build on my self-control, because when I'm not trading, when I'm breaking my rules, it's because of self-control. I'm in fear, I'm worried, I'm scared that this is not gonna go my way, and then I lack self-control and I do the wrong thing. I don't think it's discipline, I think it's just self-control. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm improving, so thank you.